Black women, you need to protect your mind. Welcome back to my channel, where I talk about strategies black women can use to gain power. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 steps on how to protect your mind, stay emotionally regulated, while also staying informed and motivated to achieve. So on this channel, if you've noticed, I've been talking a lot about the mind and how it matters the most for what we're trying to achieve for black women as a collective rising from this place that we've been in for centuries. And I've been talking about the mind so much because I know that the mind is our first and greatest tool. There's no action that we can take that can happen without it starting in our minds. So therefore, everything that you do needs to be centered around strengthening your mind, developing your mind, and protecting your mind. Your mind is your world, and your mind is your reality. And if you're trying to develop and strengthen your mind, but you're not protecting it, well, guess what? You're undoing your work. If you're telling yourself positive affirmations and you're trying to build your confidence and build your faith, you're trying to get things done, but you spend your free time engaging with stuff that tears you down or sows doubt in your head, then you're not protecting your mind and you're hindering your progress. Protect your mind. So step 1 of how to do this, how to protect your mind. Keep your social media hate free. You need to be so very intentional about what you're consuming on social media. You could be having a great day in your personal life. Your house could be clean. Your job could be going well. And then you go on social media and you see something that emotionally dysregulates you. Social media is so important because it's the fastest place that most of us can go to. And most of us are on there all day long. And you can go to some place that you're not even in real life. And if you keep going to those places, those horrible places on social media, it can actually destroy your mind. It can make you so depressed. It can tear you down. Whereas if you had just avoided those things, you could have been so much more mentally healthy. There are things that you need to be ruthless about avoiding when you're scrolling your timeline. And I'm going to give you some examples. So say you're scrolling, you come across some black man saying how he hates black women. Now your first urge is going to be to type up a comment and defend yourself. And some of y'all will even go and you're going to stitch the video. I'm going to tell you, don't do that. Don't do any of that. I'm going to tell you, block him. When you come across a video like that, don't respond to it. Don't stitch it. Don't talk about it. Block it. If you need to report it before you block it, report it, but block him. Don't listen to the entire video. Don't even let his words take a memory in your head. Block it. You come across a racist caricature of black women made by some racist incel. Report it, block it. Don't finish that video. Don't read those comments. You don't want that stuff in your head. Block it. You're on TikTok scrolling. You see a white woman asking black women a question. You're going to be tempted to stop, and you're going to be tempted to answer that question. She's not coming in good faith. Block her. And, even if she thinks her intentions are good, you still don't need to respond. She doesn't need your energy. Block it. Same thing for non-black women. Just block it. Block it all. You can't knee-jerk mammy response and start answering to this stuff. You're going to have to catch yourself when you're about to do it. You just need to block. Now, keep this in mind now. I need you to keep this in mind because you're going to see it as soon as you go on social media and start scrolling. But you're going to need to remember, block. Now, I want to pause here and say something very important. There are 2 exceptions where I say your response is necessary and that you should not immediately block. 2 exceptions. Please listen to this very clearly. This is when someone politically attacks your image and when another black woman says something self-hating. Now, a political attack on your image, this is the kind of thing where someone spreads misinformation about you and black women as a group that could affect public policy and laws. See, there's a difference between a black man just, talking crap about black women, about your hair, blah, 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 versus someone spreading misinformation, say, for example, about black women's femicide stats. You have to know that difference. So if someone tries to say that black women face transphobia or compare you to trans women, that is very racist, and you should absolutely denounce that. That kind of thinking is very bad, very harmful for your public image, and could absolutely cause negative policies affecting you. You can't let that take root. You can't let that slide. So if you are going to respond to anyone, you can respond to things like that. If someone tries to deny the abuse that black women and girls face at the hands of men in their community or have faced historically, you absolutely don't need to let misinformation be spread about that. The world needs to know, and the more you speak up, those conversations, if we would center issues like those and talk to each other, those conversations can lead to policy being changed and other black women becoming more self-aware. Same thing for black women's health care. If somebody is spreading misinformation around black women's bodies, you can correct that. Think of that almost as like a community note. You're not just letting the misinformation that could affect public perception and policy exist without any pushback. If you let that exist and you don't say anything that's dangerous, that's harmful. Well, that's the first exception. Not letting misinformation exist. Second part of this exception that I'm making, for black women who are expressing self-hate, you can sometimes do a lot of good responding to those things, because it's the same thing as being an influence against misinformation, except this is more social misinformation. She may see your comment and she may be shamed out of talking down on herself, and we do have to bring back public shame. We do have to shame people, and we do have to make it very clear that we are not in the same group with people who have no self-respect. And so, even if she doubles down and she gets stubborn, your comment is going to be there to tell other black girls that this is not okay, this is not what we're doing, and even for other people to see that this is not what we're doing. So if another black girl comes along and she sees that video and she sees that you are in there and you're pushing back, she can at least have that in her head. She shouldn't just see only black women laughing at that kind of behavior. So that is fine. If you do want to ever engage, those are the two exceptions where you would engage. With all that said, the point is to protect your mind. So even if you are responding in those two exceptions, don't get locked in an endless argument. Your argument doesn't need to last for days or even hours. You just drop your facts, you shame if you need to, and then you move on. So those are two exceptions, but the opinions of people who want your attention because they're just bored losers, questions come from people who are trying to rage bait you, that's unnecessary. And that's what I mean by block. Keep your social media clean. It's all about protecting your mind. Step 2 of protecting your mind: curate your social circle. I'm going to assume you have girlfriends, you have women that you hang out with. What kind of women are they? You need to evaluate them. Are the women that you're around constantly complaining, constantly in bad relationships, constantly putting themselves down or putting you down? If so, you know what you need to do. The real life equivalent of a block. You say, how do you block a person in real life? I know you're thinking right now how you don't want to do that because you're scared of conflict, but you don't need to have a fight with people to cut them off. And you don't even need to have a conversation with them to cut them off. You can do what I call the phase out. The next time that negative girlfriend invites you somewhere, tell her that you're busy. She gets on the phone, she wants to complain about black men. You tell her you don't care about black men. One sentence. There are certain ways that you can shut people down in conversations that will make them not even want to talk to you again. And you don't even have to really point out what you don't like about them. It's just all in your response. You just have to know how to respond. Social circle also includes family and men that you're dating. If you're seeing a man and maybe he says something that makes you feel bad or makes you feel small in any way, maybe you can't even really pinpoint it, but there's something about the way that you interact sometimes, or the things that he says, or you're wondering, am I really his type, or does he really want me? Cut him off. Any kind of nagging, any kind of weirdness, he has to go. Keep it very simple and keep it straightforward. Protect your mind. Now, family, being a part of the social circle, it's a little bit trickier. You start out with these people, And usually for emergencies or when something goes wrong, we all go back to our families. Even, we just need something, we go back to our families. You're going to have to judge what kinds of family relationships are worth maintaining, how much distance or closeness you need to keep, how you're going to go about your interactions with these people if you're going to have it. Family is tricky, again, because these people expect access to you, and you need to have a strong sense of self if you're going to deny that access. Part of that sense of self is not just mental, it's also financial. You may not need to cut off your family if you can't support yourself just yet. You might have to figure out how you can interact with them strategically. But anyways, the rule is still the same. As much as possible, be away from people who say and have negative opinions of black women, people who have negative opinions of black women who want to rest and be treated well by the men that they choose, people who have negative opinions of black women who aren't stereotypes, people who have negative opinions of black women simply existing happily as themselves. Anybody, if you get any whim that they have something against black women, cut them off. The people around you need to be totally supportive of you, totally supportive of your humanity, or they don't need to be around you. It's better for you to be alone than to be with people who are destroying you, destroying your mind, destroying your self-esteem. So again, go through, look at your group, look at who you're around, and you cut out and you phase out anybody that doesn't make you feel like you are the coolest, hottest, most capable being walking this earth. This is your life, and you can have in it who you want. Step 3 of protecting your mind. Care selectively. Black women, you cannot care about everything. I know you guys want to be moral. I know you want to make sure that you don't even have wrong thoughts or selfish thoughts or unfair thoughts, but it's not possible. No matter how much you care, you cannot control and fix everything and everyone. Get over it. Get over yourself. You will have to learn to care selectively. Just like a software system with limited storage, you don't have the space to hold everything. Do you know how many things I've avoided thinking about? How many situations I refuse to give my energy to? And that's not because I'm intentionally staying ignorant about what's going on in the world or with the people around me. No. It's because I know that caring about too many things at once is going to distract me from the actual work I need to be doing to progress. Selective caring. The whole concept of selectiveness means that you're deliberately choosing from a group of similar things. So in this case of selective choosing, where you see 25 problems, maybe you choose to only acknowledge 2 or 3 of those problems. Whether this is things that happen in your day, issues that you might have had with your colleagues at work, conflicts in foreign countries that you read about, family drama, you need to choose what matters. Choose what to care about. Selective caring, selective hearing, selective responses. Okay, your coworker is annoying. Your coworker is making work difficult. You need to assess whether this person can be ignored, whether you can put them in their place, or whether this is something more serious, threatening to your job and your career. Maybe you need to get another job. You need to assess how much you need to care and then how you'll handle it. Every situation doesn't call for the same response. Can you ignore that family member you can't get along with? Or do you just need to stay away from family functions altogether? You have to assess the issue. Foreign countries. Y'all, you're just too far away to be focused on foreign countries. Whatever country you're in, you have your problems there. You need to focus there. People in other countries are adults. They can think just like you can think. They have agency just like you do. And you should trust that these people can solve their own problems. And let me pause here and say that I think it's very important to read the news. I don't think you should ignore what's happening because knowledge is power. But it's all about your approach. If you read the news and you come away feeling like the sky is falling, you're not interacting with the news in the right way. You're supposed to read the news like gleaning information. Think of it like your opportunity to put out feelers and receive information on the next things you should do in your personal strategy. If you see something devastating, the point isn't to feel like, oh my God, I'm standing in a burning world. The world's always been burning, baby. The point is to take that information and use it to extrapolate what your next move should be to stay out of the way and keep growing and get on top. We can use the news as information, as prediction models. If you're getting emotional and then you're just closing the page, you've read the news for the wrong reason. You need to read the news so you can know what your next place should be. Knowing what is happening is beneficial. It just matters what we take away from that knowing. Selective caring. Maybe you're in public. You see somebody doing something. You're like, wow, that's really off behavior. Pretty sure that's wrong. You don't need to run and try to correct them. You just mind your business. You mind your business and you get away from there. Selective caring. Stop feeling sorry for everyone. You hear stuff, just, let it wash over you. Just let it go in one ear and come out the other. People can handle their own business. You're not their savior. So that's selective caring. You evaluating whether the effects of a certain thing are negative enough to you personally to take time to wrestle with that thing. And if it's not, then you know what to do. Ignore it. This leads us right into selective hearing. You don't have to mentally engage with everything that you hear. People will say stupid things. People say things that they don't even remember that they said. You can hear somebody say something that's inappropriate. You don't need to immediately respond. You need to evaluate. You need to ask yourself, do I need to address this thing? Is addressing this thing going to make my life better? Is it going to help me to address this? Or is it safer for me to just not care? Maybe you told somebody one time about a dream you had that you wanted to do, something you wanted to do. They said you couldn't do it. Why should you listen to them? This is when you need to have selective hearing. Just tell yourself that they don't matter, that their world isn't your world, and don't hear it. Let people be the flawed, screwed up creatures that they are over there. You don't need to forget what they said. You don't need to forget what's going on. You just don't need to try to fix people all the time by confronting them. Just cut them off, stop giving them whatever you were giving them, and keep it pushing. Selective responding. You don't have to respond to everything that you see. You'll see somebody do something shady. You don't need to sit them down and have a conversation about that thing they did. You don't need to call the manager just yet. You just need to note that and move accordingly. It's usually enough to recognize what somebody's doing than to ever say anything to them about it. When you see them do that thing, just go over and compile evidence. You can have that evidence stacked up for when you finally need to use it against them. In the meantime, you just watch them. Just watch them and handle yourself in a way that protects you from what they're trying to do and keep it pushing. Protect your mind. Selective responding. We walk past people all the time who want to pick fights with us, who want our attention. The best thing that you can do is ignore them. You will know when it's time to have a response to a person. But for most of these things, ignore. And you also have to know how to send over an energy to people. Like, if somebody starts coughing, you don't have to look them in the eye to send negative energy. You can cough back louder than they coughed at first and let them know that I know what you're trying to do. And that's how you send that energy without ever interacting with them, without ever receiving theirs. Like if you look them in the eye, now you have to walk away knowing how mean and ugly their face looked. But if you just cough back loudly, you sent that negative energy back without taking any of it in. You hear somebody yelling something, they want attention, just starve it. I made this post earlier about avoiding eye contact and interactions, and I'm going to say it again. The less interactions you have with people, the better off you are mentally and emotionally. The whole assignment is for you to block, cut, cull anything that doesn't make you feel good, that doesn't uplift you, that doesn't support you. If you don't have to have these images, these words, these experiences in your mind, that's less doubt and less negativity that you have to fight. You don't have to lay down at night thinking about, somebody called you a name, because you never had an interaction with them to begin with. You want to learn how to scope the room before you even walk in to know who has negative energy. You got to use your discernment. And you want to know how to not even interact with those people. You don't have to hear black men's words in your head when you're getting dressed up to go out because you didn't listen to them in the first place. You don't have to think about colorism and featureism and texturism and blah, 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 blah on a Friday night because you're with women who look like you and who have confidence in who they are and their beauty, and all of you are uplifting each other. You don't have to be discouraged when you sit down to research or work on your business or your dream because you cut off the family member telling you that it was unrealistic. So now those words aren't in your head because you're not listening to them. This is the whole reason you protect your mind, so you can move and you can thrive without unnecessarily fighting internally while you're working so hard externally. Don't work against yourself and your own progress by tearing down your own mind, by exposing yourselves to these things that work to destroy and defeat your mind. Life has enough of its own obstacles. Don't you go and put yourself in the way of things that's going to humiliate, depress, and distract you. As you work on your skills, your business, your health, your femininity, your life, you need as little friction as possible. And the struggle definitely does not need to be coming from your own head. Protect your mind. Please like this video and tell me something good in the comments. Subscribe to this channel for more videos on how black women can grow and improve and protect themselves in every area of life, and pass this message along to a woman who needs it. Thank you for listening. May the truth set you free.